You know, there's a patch of the Atlantic Ocean where the normal rules just don't seem to apply. For decades, it's been this place of chilling legends, of just baffling disappearances. We're talking, of course, about the Bermuda Triangle. It's also got a much more ominous nickname, the Devil's Triangle. And honestly, that name gets right to the heart of the whole mystery, doesn't it? What is it about this specific place that has spawned so many terrifying stories? Okay, so geographically, it's not as spooky as it sounds. We're talking about a huge triangular area, about 500,000 square miles. But here's a really key detail. It's one of the most heavily trafficked shipping and flight lanes in the entire world. It connects the Americas, Europe, and the Caribbean. And, more traffic just statistically means more chances for things to go wrong.
But let's be real. Its reputation has absolutely nothing to do with geography, and everything to do with what allegedly happens inside its borders. This is the place where planes and ships are said to just vanish.
And this isn't just some recent internet thing. For years and years, this stretch of ocean has been the focal point of stories about vessels and aircraft that flew in and were just never ever seen again. It's really earned its reputation as one of the most mysterious places on the entire planet.
So, how did this whole legend even begin? Well, one single event truly cemented the idea in everyone's minds: the crazy case of the vanishing squadron. Picture this: December 5th, 1945. 5 U.S. Navy bombers, known as Flight 19, take off from Florida. It was supposed to be a completely routine training mission, but a few hours in, their radio transmission started getting frantic. The pilots were confused, totally disoriented, saying their compasses were just spinning wildly. They were lost. And then, just silence. All 5 planes blinked off the radar. And in this chilling final twist, a rescue plane sent out to find them also vanished. Gone. 14. Just let that number sink in. That's how many men were on those first 5 planes. Their disappearance wasn't just a terrible tragedy, it was literally the birth of a modern legend.
You really can't overstate the power of this one story. I mean, losing an entire squadron and then the planes sent to rescue them, it was so shocking and so strange that it transformed a simple piece of ocean into the Bermuda Triangle, a place of deep mystery and fear. So, naturally, when you have a mystery this big, you know the scientific community isn't just going to let it go. For decades, they've been digging, trying to find logical explanations for these seemingly impossible events. So what in the world could have happened to Flight 19 and all the other ships and planes that are said to have disappeared? Well, scientists have some pretty fascinating ideas that don't involve any aliens or paranormal portals. So the leading contenders, the top theories, range from these colossal, unexpected waves and crazy powerful currents to strange gas eruptions from the seafloor and even weird anomalies in the Earth's magnetic field. Okay, let's start with rogue waves. Now, we're not just talking about big waves from a bad storm. No. This is a massive, almost vertical wall of water that can pop up out of nowhere, sometimes reaching 100 feet or more. A wave like that could literally swallow a huge ship whole, leaving absolutely no time to even send out a distress call. Then there's the methane eruption theory, which is kind of wild. The idea is that these huge deposits of frozen methane on the ocean floor could suddenly, violently erupt. This would create a giant plume of gas bubbles. And because the water is suddenly full of gas instead of just liquid, its density just plummets. Any ship sailing into this frothy water would lose all its buoyancy and could sink like a rock, almost instantly. And of course, you can't just ignore the more conventional explanations, right? The area is notorious for its volatile, unpredictable weather, and it's home to the Gulf Stream, which is an incredibly powerful underwater river. On top of all that, some researchers point to magnetic anomalies in the region that could totally throw off compasses, which sounds a lot like what the pilots of Flight 19 were reporting. But here is the single most important point. There is no one smoking gun. There's no single theory that explains everything. Rogue waves might explain a missing ship, sure, but what about a vanishing airplane? Methane eruptions don't really account for disappearances in perfectly clear weather. And yeah, magnetic anomalies might explain why someone gets lost, but it doesn't explain why the wreckage is so often never found. And this brings us right to the core of the whole debate, the one question that remains totally unsettled after all these years. Is the Bermuda Triangle a true paranormal mystery, or is it just a product of reality mixed with a whole lot of myth? So really, you're left with two competing views. On one hand, you have the belief that this is a paranormal zone, a place where things happen that science just can't explain, at least not yet. And on the other hand, you have the argument that this is just an unforgiving patch of sea with a ton of traffic, violent weather, and simple human error, where accidents are bound to happen, and those accidents then get amplified by the legend.
So, after looking at all of this, the history, the science, where do you land? Are there really mysterious forces at play in the Devil's Triangle? Or is this just a case of a dangerous part of the world, where tragedy gets amplified by our fascination with a good mystery? You know, maybe the real mystery isn't what's in the water, but why we're so drawn to the unknown in the first place.